Hello and welcome to another edition of Las Vegas Pitch Presents. Today we have a great team, the Willis Team.
Hello.
You guys ready to have some fun today?
Yes, let's do it.
We're going to have so much fun. There's a lot to talk about with you guys in regards to where the Willis Team started and where you're at right now. So let's kind of dive in real quick. How did the Willis Team get started?
Oh, man. Let's see. So we have been working together for 13 years. I started, you've been doing it for 26 years.
Yeah, 26 years.
He looks really good for that. I mean, I wish I looked that good.
I did all right.
Well, you look really good too.
Well, thank you.
So I'll give you that.
But we've been married for 15 and a half years. And into our marriage, we said, let's do this together. Let's work on real estate together. So we started out 13 years ago where I was his transaction coordinator.
Okay.
And then he continued on the sales side. And then moving here, we're originally from Cincinnati. Moving here, I transitioned over to the sales side.
Yeah.
And so that's what we've been doing here in Las Vegas for 4.5 years.
So Jay, you've been doing it 26 years. How did you actually get into it in the first place? You started like when you were 12, right?
Well, yeah, I joke with people and tell them I've been a realtor since I was 5.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because I actually grew up in a real estate family. My aunt and uncle owned
Okay.
a small real estate brokerage in Cincinnati, Ohio, where we're from. And so growing up, I was inspired. I saw my actual relatives, open a real estate brokerage and be successful. And my uncle was like one of the most productive and successful realtors in Cincinnati, Ohio. So growing up, I was inspired by him, graduated from high school and got my real estate license at 19.
Wow, that's awesome. Real estate is such a great place to be, and just seeing the growth that has happened. I love the fact that you were transaction coordinator because that's where all the details come into play.
100%.
And that's why you've had so much success is the systems and the process and getting that all together, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So we'll talk about that in a minute. But the one thing that I wanted to talk about was Mrs. Henderson. So we gotta dive into Mrs. Henderson. I'm going to call you Mr. Henderson.
I'm starting to
So
get that.
you're kind of getting that, right?
Yes,
So let's talk about
yes.
Mrs. Henderson and what that's all about, because I know you have some fun stuff going on there.
I do. So I am the current Mrs. Henderson 2024. It's within the Mrs. America pageant
I love it.
organization.
Yeah.
Yeah. So under Jackie McKenna, and I'm having a blast. Honestly.
I see the smile.
I
Look at the
know.
smile.
I'm
You're
having
just
a
like
blast.
glowing here.
Yeah,
That
but
came before Mrs. Henderson.
That's true. I like to have a blast.
Yeah.
But I get to, one of my platforms is Hope for the City. So I get to bring a lot of awareness about Hope for the City. And we are, working every day to help end hunger in the Las Vegas Valley. So raising money for them, raising awareness for them, and focusing on women entrepreneurship.
Yeah, love
so
that.
I get to, share with people about that. And then I'll be running for Mrs. Nevada America June 2024.
Make sure you get out and get the word out for Mrs. Henderson over here.
Yeah, and I get to represent Henderson.
Yeah,
Henderson.
which is great. Henderson is one of the best places to be. I mean, it is such a great growing city, obviously a suburb of Las Vegas, but a lot of growth there.
Yeah.
And then, so Mrs. Henderson, giving back to the community,
Yeah.
right, has been a lot of fun for you.
For sure.
What is the best part of the Mrs. Henderson aspect? Getting out there?
Yeah, truly, just getting out there. It's different when you do put, a crown and sash on because you get a little bit more attention. But
I thought about that.
you gotta put the crown and sash on. But bringing smiles to people's faces, getting to know people in the community, being a connector. I've always been a connector,
Right.
And I'm an extrovert, if you can't already tell. But just being a connector, getting to know other people, getting to know even more about my city.
Yeah.
Has been really, really incredible. So I'm enjoying the ride.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, we talked a little bit about systems and process.
Yeah.
Transaction coordinator. I know, Jay, you're very focused on that, as well as Nicci. Tell us why that systems and process with the Willis Team is so important and what makes it different for a consumer, a buyer coming in right now, or a seller for that matter.
That's good.
Well, I think in business in general, you have to follow a system in order to be able to scale. And it's really important, when she started off as a transaction coordinator, you push things to closing, right? So if you learn how to push things through closing, you have to follow a process. So we have a process where she's great with customer service. I'm kind of more the idea guy. She still pushes things to closing.
The analytical guy.
Yeah, so we have a good system in place to where we work with our clients, and it allows them to have a great experience, and also allows us on the business end to be able to work with multiple clients, to do different aspects of real estate in order to, scale and do different things.
Right. So systems and process, I know it's like near and dear to your heart.
It is.
When I
love
saw
it.
you talk about that, what did you learn to in that transaction coordinator role prior to getting into all the stuff that you do now to make sure the experience is important and a fun experience for the client?
For sure. Well, definitely tracking. Tracking, the client experience and being able to benchmark. So we do a lot of tracking, from the time that we meet with the client, we're seeing what their actions are, what are they looking at on our website, and then seeing based on what we're tracking, how we can help further and bring more value. So it's really a lot about, bringing value as we're seeing, what their behaviors are, what they're possibly thinking about, because I know, in real estate, it doesn't just happen overnight. These are journeys that people are on. Especially, first-time home buyers, or even, second and third-time home buyers. These are journeys that people are taking. And so, being able to track that and for us to have a memory, and then they say, oh my goodness, when my birthday is or when my anniversary is. And then we can continue to help them along on their journey, not just for this transaction, but for future. Yeah.
Now, you do a lot of listings and sales. Right now, I know you have a number of listings right now.
Yeah,
what does that system and process look like when somebody comes in, says, hey, Nicci, Jay, I want to sell my house. What do you walk them through on that process?
Well, for one, I want to know the why. Okay, so why are you moving? Where do you plan to go? What's going on in the next 5 to 10 years in your life? That really helps to get a feel for what we're going to be looking for when we put it on the market.
Right.
All the things, are you trying to go for top dollar value, or are you trying to, just get out so you can move on with your life? Absolutely.
Right.
So, that's the first thing that we do. We ask a lot of questions, and we do a lot of listening. I think people don't do enough listening these days, but that is definitely one of the things that we do. And then, we take our time with the client, making sure that all their needs are being met, and it's definitely worked for us.
And it's worked really well.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
So you are all boots on the ground. You're talking to clients every single day. Jay, you're kind of that analytical guy as well. What are you hearing from home buyers right now that are looking for properties that now that we have a little bit elevated interest rates?
Sure.
What are they most interested in right now? What's their biggest fear? What's concerning to them?
I think people don't like change. The biggest fear I think people have is, if I buy this house now, will something drastically change? So I think a lot of concern is like a change. But, my thing I like to say is not just for business, it's personal. It's like you buy real estate and wait.
You're
So
right.
normally it kind of corrects itself, and hopefully you can make it through the change if it does happen. But a lot of, especially first-time home buyers, the rate isn't really the big thing, because they want to own, whether the rate is super high or super low. And a lot of times it's a lot better than renting.
Right.
And we work with a lot of people relocating and relocation. And so a lot of times they want to get into a home. Of course, they don't want to pay whatever, but they want to have the pride of home ownership. They want to be homeowners. But the biggest concern is change.
Change is always hard. And trying to make the wrong decision, right? They're always concerned about that. And I think you said it very nicely, is real estate is time, right? When you buy a house, it doesn't mean that 1 year is going to make or break you, right?
Right. Absolutely.
What's the typical length of time a buyer stays in their house?
5 out here in Las Vegas.
Sure.
Well, because it makes a difference, because like Las Vegas, we're from Cincinnati, we're from the Midwest,
right,
where, people look, they stay in their homes a lot longer.
30 years?
Well, a lot longer than that. But here in Las Vegas, 5 to 7 years, they're looking to move, or they might be, relocating from, their job here to another location. So, I always talk about the 5-year itch. when people are starting to look for new homes, right? So
Yeah, people were kind of bottled up with the changes with COVID being
Sure.
locked down, interest rates being low, and then in
Mhm.
2008 with the housing crisis, and they
Yeah,
didn't
we
have
were
equity.
there.
So a lot of people are staying in their houses longer than they typically were.
Yeah.
But I think there's this pent up demand that the housing that they have right now
Mhm.
may not be exactly fitting their needs right now.
Yeah. And they discovered all that during COVID. When you're living amongst,
top of each
on
other.
top of each other, you're just kind of like, I can see you, I can still see you, I can still hear you. And so, but for us, especially as we are working, like my husband said, we're working with a lot of people that are relocating, a lot of
Right.
people that are coming from being renters, so first-time home buyers. Our thing is looking for your ideal home. Not dream home. We don't believe in dream homes. We're seeking ideal home
Mhm.
because a dream can just be, it can make it unrealistic, and we want people to be homeowners. We're trying to
Right.
help. A lot of people start their wealth and wealth generation with home ownership. So, that waiting and, well, I'm just going to rent. I'm just going to continue to rent. Well, you're not going to, regardless of what's going on with the interest rate, you're on the wrong side of it if you're renting. So if you can afford it, if it makes sense right now, just know as the rates will change,
Right.
guess what? This is the highest you'll ever pay.
This is the highest you're going to pay,
Sure.
and your mortgage payment can come down. And
Yeah.
NAR, National Association of Realtors, just came out with their most recent survey on net worth and homeowner versus renter. Homeowner net worth 40 times more than a renter.
Mm.
It's just great, and it's just finding the right home, right?
Right.
And sometimes it's not your dream home, as you talk about,
Sure.
but the ideal home to get you into the marketplace.
Absolutely.
So that's good. All right, we're going to move right along to our 2024 real estate market predictions. And Jay, I'm going to start with you first.
Well, I have a ball head.
Because I want to see if you guys are
like
the same.
ball
here.
head is like a crystal
Ooh,
ball.
I got one of those too.
We don't have a crystal ball, but one of the reasons why I personally moved here is because it's like the best of both worlds. You can live in the suburbs of Henderson or Summerlin or wherever, but you can drive to the Strip and be in. It's almost like a totally different city.
Yeah.
So for me, I think that Vegas is a little too big to fail. I mean, we have the Super Bowl coming up here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Go Niners.
I knew that was gonna happen.
Big Niners fan.
It's huge.
It seems like we're going to have an NBA team here very soon, and the A's are already on their way here. So when you combine entertainment with sports, that brings in people that don't care about gambling and the casinos and things like that, and then you have the people that love that. They want to come and see shows and they don't have to get on a plane. They can just drive 20, 30 minutes. So I think real estate is bright from what we've been hearing about. You can speak on it more about interest rates going down, more attraction, more things for people to do. And I think it's going to look up. I think it's going to be a busy market. I think the market is going to continue to rise, and we need to get more listings, right?
Yeah.
We do, right? Inventory.
Yeah.
And how about you, Nicci? What are you thinking is going to happen?
You know what? No one likes to talk about it, but the election's coming up.
Yeah.
And everybody wants everybody to be happy. We'll just put it that way. And so obviously, we're going to see some changes in the interest rate. But what we're not going to see is home prices dropping down. So I think especially here in Las Vegas, home prices are going to creep up. I don't think it's going to be a huge exponential jump, but they're going to creep up. And so again, if people are ready and able to buy, they should go ahead and call a loan officer like Bill here and his team. But yeah, definitely go ahead and call a loan officer. It's time. Like if you're looking to buy within the next 8 to 12 months, talk to a loan officer right now.
Yeah, I think that's great advice, obviously. Mm-hmm. And you said it, Jay. I think Las Vegas is at a point now where there's no turning back.
Right.
I think that it's just big and it's growing, and there's more and more eyeballs coming here. And there's 40 million people that come here every single year. Mm-hmm. And it's just going to get bigger, better, faster, stronger, and more fun. More fun. Yeah. Well, I want to thank you all for, oh gosh. Yes. This is the last thing I want to talk about.
Oh,
You
okay.
guys have been so involved in the community. You started Black Henderson.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I want to hear all about this because that, to me, what you guys have done with that is absolutely incredible. Tell us about what Black Henderson is and how that actually evolved and came about.
Sure. You want to start, or you want me to?
You can start.
Okay. This is what happens, when
She
you're
gets
married and you
excited
work
about
and-
this, yes.
Yeah, so I gotta ask. But anyway, so we moved here August 2019, and we moved to Henderson. It felt like home, truly. But when we moved to Henderson, we didn't quite see community.
Right.
People like us. That share our same culture and things like that. So we just started an interest group, a little Facebook group. Six people.
Yeah.
And we started in March 2020. And
That's
it
right at the start.
literally
Right,
at the start of COVID. But we started to meet online and do different things and find out what Black-owned businesses are in Henderson.
Right.
What resources are in Henderson for Black people that live in Henderson and do business and work in Henderson. And so as we continue to grow, it's been fantastic, and we're now up to 3,200.
That's unbelievable. What a great community.
3,300 now.
3,300.
Yeah. So it keeps
Hey,
growing, but
that's
we
awesome.
are continue to serve that community. We love the community. And we have meetups. We have our flagship event, which is always the 3rd September every year now. This is going to be our 4th one. It's called the Black Henderson Family Reunion.
Okay.
So we have a lot of fun
it.
there, and we have all kinds of vendors and people that come out in the community, and we just have just a really wonderful time. But our focus is in real estate. So of course, our passion is helping Black people, African Americans, build wealth through real estate. That's one of our passions. And so, that's just our small corner. But, we also have people that are in finance, that are, other entrepreneurs.
Yes.
And so we get to link up together and make connections and build bridges. And it's been fantastic. And, also just being able to share with our community all the things that Henderson has that is available. It's been fantastic.
I absolutely love it. Keep building the community.
Thank you.
Keep representing Henderson and
Love
hopefully Nevada and Mrs.
Love it.
Nevada. And I wish the best of luck to you as she gets on that journey too, as you kind of ride the coattails
Yeah, I
to
gotta get
Mr.
a
Henderson.
t-shirt.
You get a
We're gonna get
t-shirt.
you a t-shirt.
You get
Do you want it
something,
blinged out? That's the question.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
I don't know about that.
Do you get a crown or something?
I think it's about
Yeah,
it.
I don't know.
We'll make you
We'll have to figure something out there. But if you ever want to run the numbers and figure out where you stand in regards to buying a home, please feel free to reach out to me, billgaylord.com, schedule an appointment, and we'll go through a Zoom call and go through the numbers, and then we'll connect you with someone like Nicci and Jay to get you into a home. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Las Vegas Pitch Presents. Bye, everybody.